Good morning, pregame crew. How are you doing? It is Monday, October 10th, 2022, 8:21 a.m. Eastern, 6:21 a.m. Mountain Time. You are at the pregame show. And what we do here every morning is we go over indices, commodities, crypto, movers and shakers of the day. And my goal is to just get you ready for the trading day, show you some fishing holes that I'm targeting for the day. We have a busy week. We have CPI data, we have FOMC minutes, and we have bank earnings this week. Big week. I'll officially get started in 8 minutes. And between now and then, I'm going to say hello to my friends, do a few chart requests, and an audio-visual check, please. Thank you, Night Truck. Appreciate it. Good morning, Andrew. Hi, Intuitive Guy, Renee, Basque, Chris, my friend Bennett, Roger, Mal, Casey, Andre, Greg. Thank you. Good morning, Night Truck. Hey, Amir. Hey, Jessica, how's Coeur d'Alene right now? I'm thinking about Coeur d'Alene. My heart is with you. Hey, Maddie, how's the squirrel life? Going well? Hope you're good. Good morning. We're waking up to a sea of red, but I think I have some interesting details about this sea of red. Bears are in control of almost every single time frame. However, I'm seeing small clues of a bounce today, and we'll go over that. Hey, Sam, good morning. Any chart requests yet? None yet. I was just looking at platinum. Platinum, I'm aiming for a daily higher low on platinum. It hasn't pulled back as far as gold has. So platinum still has room for a daily higher low, which gold does too, but on a bounce, platinum still has a chance at a higher high where gold has pulled back too far. So platinum is getting interesting. I took my eye off of it, really took a break from the charts this weekend. So I didn't watch it last night. I think there was a dip buy opportunity at $900, but I will keep watching that one. It is Chart Guys hoodie weather. I need to bust mine out. Rivian, okay, it's bearish, Paul. Short every pop. Good thing they don't know who you are, Maddie, right? Yeah, I can look at Roblox, no problem. Paul, Rivian is one of my Queen of the Mountain trades. And this is my, I think it was on the 2 hour. This was my drawing from Friday. I haven't changed anything in this chart. Do you remember? Actually, it was from Thursday. Thursday, I was saying, let's look for a peak above and fail in this megaphone broadening formation. And I said, I know it sounded crazy with bullish news at the time. It sounded nuts, but this technical analysis, this pattern of the broadening formation, we were up at resistance, and that worked out really well. So this was what I typed out last Thursday. This is obviously no longer valid because the top fish setup has already happened, the short. So, but now I would look for bounces to short. We're oversold on the 2 hour. We're oversold on the hourly. So I would just, bounces are for shorting. But again, RSI matters a little bit less because this bearishness, besides technical break, is also because they recalled 13,000 vehicles for steering issues, which are a pretty big deal. So right now it has a tweezer bottom attempt. I'd still have to wait for bounces to short. I just can't carte blanche short it. But if it could bounce at 3250 area, I think that'd be a good area to go short. Roblox. See, I just said squirrel, Maddie. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. See, you're just a good man. Taking care of the smaller animals. Okay, Roblox. 3360, 3357, double bottom. You're looking for a higher, actually that's a lower low because that little pivot, but you're expecting a low compared to 3360 just as far as odds. If you could get a gap down, I would say it possibly is for buying. I'm looking to buy gap downs this morning and short overbought conditions at 5 and 15 minute. So I'm looking for a small bounce this morning. And if that were to happen, names like Roblox, especially with a gap down, it could have a nice bounce. But don't get it twisted. Bears are in charge of this chart. 4 hour lower high is the more likely scenario. Hourly lower high is the more likely scenario. I just want a good flush down at open, get rid of all the emotions in the market, VIX have a temporary top out and we get a little bounce this morning. That's what I'm looking for. Paul, if RSI is trying to head upwards on Rivian, that's actually good. You're cooling off the oversold conditions and it's giving bears another chance at it. Of course I feel guilty. I always feel guilty. Good morning, Ria. RSI, we put a lot of emphasis on it at TCG with oversold conditions when we look for bottom fish or overbought for top fish and so on. However, price action is still the most important. Price action is king, queen, prince, and princess. It's the most important thing that we analyze. RSI will give us a tool. The big hammer that we bring to the job every day is price action. And you can think of RSI like a tiny little screwdriver or something. It's not the big wig in the tool set. You're welcome, Paul. So if you ever get confused with the signals that RSI is sending you, go back to price action and say, what is it doing? And if you were a bear, let's say here, Paul, let's say you shorted it Thursday on that beautiful top fish setup on the 2-hour megaphone. Let's say you top fished that. All right. And you held it Friday and you held it overnight. If you wake up to 18% of profit, what would you do? You would cover. Most people would cover. And when they cover, they're forced to buy. It's a 4-hour tweezer bottom attempt as well. When they cover, it's a buy, and it causes these little dead cat bounces. But watch these dead cat bounces. Do you see actual green entering the market on this bounce? No. This isn't people saying, gosh, give me some of this Rivian down at $30. It could be a few mixed in there. People wake up and say, gosh, it really got whacked. I'm going to get a piece of this value. But most of it is short covering. And the bull volume increases, then you know it's not only short covering, bulls have an appetite for Rivian long. So always think about why something is bouncing. What is the psychology of waking up to a name being down an additional 7% and it's bouncing? Why would that happen? Bears are covering. Tilray, I have Tilray on the list too. Are y'all cheating? Y'all see Tilray? Tilray is, I would look to short overbought conditions. The oversold bounce that we were looking for on Friday, man, did that fail miserably, absolutely miserably. So this news was on Biden saying that he's going to pardon these marijuana offenses. And we bounced really hard in US MJ and Canada MJ. And then Friday morning, everybody woke up. It's like, why are we bouncing Tilray and CGC? Because this doesn't affect them at all. This is Canadian. The U.S. initiative, and it was just a speech. You know, he just made some comments. It doesn't mean it's an actual law yet, and it just gave back almost everything. CGC did give back everything. CGC closed below Thursday's low. So I think CGC and Tilray, I would look to short bounces, 15-minute overbought conditions. Let's see what that would bring us to. So that's part of the Queen of the Mountain trade setup. So around $3, around $3 on CGC, I'd look to top fish it, and $3.28 on Tilray would be 15-minute overbought. I'm looking for a bounce this morning, but I'm looking for bears to really get an appetite to short it again due to that controlled selling on Friday. Y'all ready to get started? Yeah, AMD had price target cuts. They had China news, but they also had an upgrade this morning. So we'll talk about AMD. Y'all ready? Let's get started. Good morning. Welcome to the pregame show. This is who I am. I'm Chart Gal Lori. I'm part of the Chart Guys community and we teach technical analysis. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter, I promise not to spam you too bad at Chart Gal Lori. And what I do here every morning, you can't see on my other screen. I have my notes that I've been typing for a few hours. I type up my notes on the indices, commodities, crypto movers, and shakers of the day. And then when I'm done with this show, I copy and paste these notes and I give them to TCG members so they can use them as they see fit. If you're interested in my chart setup, you can click on the link below in the video description to receive a PDF copy of what all these indicators are. It's a little rainbow bright-ish. But I can tell you, it's better to have less indicators than more. Some indicators for me are pivotal, and my goal is always to just constantly assess, is this indicator adding value to what I'm doing? If yes, then we keep it on the chart. If no, we remove it. I used to be a huge Ichimoku cloud trader. huge MACD, and then I just kept minimizing, and I think that's what you should be doing as a trader. So on ES, we woke up to we didn't technically gap down because we didn't gap, let's see. Did we? Yes, we did. We gapped down below Friday's action. Sorry about that. We did gap down below Friday's action, and we have a potential 4-hour bear flag in play. So I want to show you something to start out. Who's our general? The Apple. Apple is our general. Look at Friday's volume. 85 million, average is 101 million. Let's look at the daily. See how we had slightly elevated bear volume compared to Thursday, but look at these green days. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, big and green. Thursday, Friday, red, and the red was on lower volume. The volume on Thursday was 68 million, 70% of what it usually is. So what can I glean from that information? In my opinion, looking at volume and price action on Friday, we have some weak-handed emotional selling that happened Friday, and it appears as though the shorts have gotten themselves in a little bit of a pickle this morning. And this is just me piecing things together from volume and price action. Typically, when we see elevated bear volume on whatever name we're looking at, that is a statement. Those are bears making a statement. Institutions are saying we are going short. I watch dark pool action every single day. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that dark pool action was very light. It was not big money stepping in and selling. This was Jane, Johnny, Susie, Sally selling. I did not see the institutions throwing everything away. So again, those are just some pieces of information that help form my thesis, but I must base everything on price action. And right now we have a 4-hour bear flag. So on Friday, I think it was Jaime or Jamie called me out and said, "Hey, Lori, you're trying to get yourself overly bullish." No, I told you I was clearly bearish, and I clarified, and I was thankful that he brought that up. You'll see me go on both sides of the fence. I'm constantly looking for things to negate my bias. I am not looking for confirmation bias. I have a thesis and I say, okay, here are all the ways I could be wrong. And you always want to open yourself up to that. And that's why I have this book pulled up, Thinking in Bets, Making Smarter Decisions When You Don't Have All the Facts, by Annie Duke. I started listening to this yesterday on Audible, and it is absolutely brilliant book. She's actually done consulting for traders before, and she is a professional poker player who retired in 2012, I believe, with over $4 million of poker earnings, and just a brilliant book about thinking in probabilities. So what we need to do every day is we look at what is the more likely scenario, where do the odds favor, and we make decisions based on the data we see, not what we want to see, what we see. And if the trade turns out to be wrong, that's okay. As long as we're making consistently good decisions lined up with probabilities and odds over time, maybe not every single day, but over time, we would be a consistently profitable trader. How do you watch dark pool action? I have a subscription to Black Box Stocks. That's how I watch it. Hey, Mighty Pawns, you're welcome. Hey, Bitcoin. Thank you, Alex. Mighty and Matthew. I use the 8 and 21 EMA. So here's my thinking. I want to use what all the institutions are using. And I also want to use things that happen often in nature. In Fibonacci math series, 8 and 21 are part of the Fibonacci math series. 21 it reflects the mean. When things have mean reversion, I'm looking for very common EMAs where price tends to react and where institutions react. GDAX at the time, which is now Coinbase, they use 12 and 26 EMA for crypto. So I think 12 and 26 are very powerful for crypto. But I need faster signals on stocks, therefore I use the 8 and 21. Not bashing anyone who uses the 4 and 28, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Just use it consistently. Whatever you use it consistently and watch how price reacts. All right. So I'm basing a lot of my thesis today on Apple. I would say last week I have a pretty good proven reputation on Apple. Last week was incredible, absolutely incredible. But we'll just keep going back and forth on each side of the equation. The dollar is looking for a daily lower high. That makes me look for a bounce in indices. VIX is looking for a daily lower high. That makes me look bullish on indices. Does that make sense? I'm constantly piecing together the puzzle. I tell y'all, I wake up every morning and all the puzzle pieces are thrown on the ground and I scoop them all up and start putting the puzzle together. Doesn't mean I have all the pieces yet. As soon as I shut my mic down, more information enters the market. Price is constantly telling us things to help figure out this right side of the chart. So the dollar and VIX looking for daily lower highs has me slightly bullish on the indices, or I should say cautiously bullish. And we're bouncing right now. So I think that flush down just got the weak hands out overnight, and I'm looking for a little bounce in the morning. Overbought conditions will be another area to short. Bears are still in charge of this market on larger time frames. Institutional support and resistance levels on ES John, you can find it just by where price pivots. If we make it simple, so I'm talking to you about dark pools, and these are like Dan says, there's advanced trading, and Dan's going to work on an advanced trading course in the future, which I think is going to be unbelievable. The basics of price action, where support and resistance forms, that's where the bears and bulls hand off, who takes over. So here, right here at 379.46 on SPY, the bears took over. It was a place where enough bears stepped in and said, that's it, you're done, bulls, with your little tiny bounce, you're done. So that is a key level, 379.46. Wherever a bear or bull or group of bear or bulls can throw money at the market and make price reverse or pivot, that is an important area. Dark pools, I can get some extra information from dark pools, and for me, I consider that advanced trading. You don't need it to make money. Your system should be very simple. If I step on the elevator with you and we go about 7 or 8 floors in about 30 seconds, you should be able, on your elevator speech, you should be able to tell me what your system is in simple terms. And if you can't, then you're not a consistently profitable trader, and I can take that to the bank. Because you must have a system, whatever it is. If it's the strat, if it's overbought, if it's oversold, if it's fishing within equilibriums, looking for the prior trend and going with that prior trend, that your system should be that simple. I'm bringing a lot of pieces of information to you from all these different areas, just to kind of form my thesis, and I hope I'm helping you look at other pieces to glean additional hints or divergences. I'm constantly looking for divergences and confluence, but it can be a lot simpler than, you don't have to watch dark pool to make money. You don't have to, and I do it to hopefully bring more value to our chat room. Wow, I've been talking for 9 minutes and I haven't even gone over ES levels. Sorry, folks, but I thought it was important. I guess I'm not sorry. So when I look at the 15-minute from Friday, I had to go to the 15-minute to find you some resistance levels that are close by because of how fast we dropped, this precipitous drop. It was huge, and we wiped out a lot of support. So also remember, when we wipe out support this fast on a big down day, we can cut through that resistance quickly because they wiped out those order books. All right, so your resistance 3658, 3666, and then on the hourly, your support 3623. This has all the trademarks for a classic 4-hour bear flag. So I will bring to you conflicting information or evidence on the other side. So we're constantly gathering evidence as to what our conviction is. And overall, larger time frames, bears have all the evidence to prove they're in control. On shorter term time frames, I think the bulls are stacking up a little evidence. I will not lose sight of this 4-hour bear flag. I will not lose sight that a 4-hour lower high is a more likely scenario if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and thinking in bets. All right. NASDAQ. Yeah, Hang Seng was down 2.95%. and DAX is up 0.82%. Now, Hang Seng had more semiconductor headlines overnight that impacted their market. I think we could possibly look bearish. Baba, Baidu, NIO, PDD. I think we could. And maybe we'll have time to look at it, and it doesn't look like we're going to have a lot of time because I am in the ramble mode today, I guess. So I think there's some conflicting information, so I'm just going to call that negated, and I'm not going to read a lot into that. Because is Hang Seng following us? Because remember, Friday, they were when we were open, they were closed for the day. So they wake up overnight or whatever, their Monday morning for trading, and they're like, oh crap, the US was down 3% plus overnight. Let's see, what was QQQ? QQQ was down almost 4%. So Hang Seng wakes up and says, well, crap, the US. So maybe Hang Seng's a laggard to us, and it's really not telling us a lot. So remember, we have to think of it from both perspectives. So on the NASDAQ, breaking over that resistance, your next resistance is 11,135. 11,135. We still have possibility of a 4-hour bear flag. Don't forget it. Good morning, ER. Yep, Chris, VIX is up over 4%, but indices are green. Everybody woke up a little scared with that gap down overnight, and now things are cooling down a little bit. I'm going to delete that. RTY is stronger than the other indices. We are approaching 50 RSI on the hourly. That could serve as resistance. I'm reading my notes. Hourly bounce more developed than other indices along with YM. So if you look at RSI, okay, let's just look at RSI. Don't look at price actions. 47, okay, on RTY. NASDAQ, 41. ES, 45. Again, RTY, 47, and YM, 47. So IWM and Dow are leading us this morning. What does that tell me? When RTY is leading, that means that fear is leaving the market pretty quickly, because this is usually a risk on index, meaning it's a riskier asset. When people are willing to buy RTY, they're willing to buy Apple typically. So that is like a leading indicator that maybe we would have another bounce. So you see how I'm constantly stacking the evidence. So for bulls and for bears, I talked to you about VIX daily lower high possible, dollar daily lower high possible. DAX is up 0.8%. RTY is leading the charge. Volume was low on Friday with that bear volume. Was it a trick? Was it a bear trap? Possibly. So you see how I'm stacking all this here? And here's the biggie. Here's the biggie on the bear side is it's a potential 4-hour bear flag. They're in charge on the daily. They're in charge on the weekly. So I'm constantly stacking that evidence saying don't get overly bearish, Lori, because we have all of these other pieces of data pointing in another direction. All right, YM. Good morning, George. Yeah, hit that like button. Yep, Jeff, those are some small caps, and they are very high risk. So please approach. Just please approach cautiously. Okay, on Dow. Let me delete this because we got through that resistance support, 29165. And 15-minute, your next resistance is 29441. 29441, potential 4-hour bear flag. And again, look how fast we dropped. We wiped out the order book. So when we slice back up through it, we can move a little bit more easily than we can if it was a slow controlled drop that led us to this downside. Okay, VIX. 33, 39 overnight. We couldn't get over 33.46. We're up 4%. A daily lower high is the more likely scenario. That is a point in favor of market bulls. Hourly, we have plenty of room for a higher low, okay? We have plenty of room for a higher low. The test will be on the next bounce. If the VIX bears can stop them in their tracks and hold 33.46, then that would behoove the market bulls today. All right. Bitcoin. Thanks, Miguel. Thank you. Very kind, people. Okay, Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin hourly RSI. Let's do the same trick. Don't you love technical analysis? You see this inverse head and shoulders. On Bitcoin on the RSI, this breaking bull, look at our RSI, 47. This is a risk on asset. When people are buying Bitcoin, they're saying, I'm not very scared of the market. So things are changing their tone compared to overnight. We're looking for a higher low on the next pullback. I am long the indices. I am long very small MES contracts. I just have a few. I am long from 3, 6, let me snip board. I apologize, but there was no way I could have told you because I bought this yesterday evening unless you were at my house. I couldn't tell you that I was in this. But I just want to show you that I do. One second. When I have a thesis, I back it up with action if I'm trading, which I did take a small trade. I don't know if you can see that. Average buy price is 36.2675 last night. I am long ES and I am in a risky short on oil, and I just got in that. So you have an opportunity to possibly follow me on that trade, and it's popping right now. So just be careful. We have, I believe the commodities pit opens up in 13 minutes. So it's a risky time to get short oil, but I'll show you why. Let's go with finish Bitcoin. Bitcoin on the next pullback, we're looking for hourly higher low compared to 1912822, and we're still looking for a 4-hour lower high compared to 19563. And in my notes, I actually commented on this lower wick on Bitcoin and Ethereum on the 4-hour. Impressive dip buying by those bulls. That's a nice lower wick. On Ethereum, 4-hour EMAs are still overhead on Ethereum and Bitcoin, so bears are still in charge of this chart, but bulls are making headway right now on the hourly. I went from a person who did not like drinking water. I think most of us didn't drink water, at least if you're my age when you were younger, as much as you should, to now it's the nectar of the gods. Okay, so on Ethereum, 4-hour EMA is overhead. Hourly is making some headway. We're looking for a higher low compared to 1296 on that hourly chart. And we have the hourly 50 EMA overhead. Anybody ever take a shot every time I say hourly or EMA? Maybe we should. That would be a fun coffee drinking game. Burn ourselves taking coffee shots. Okay, Ethereum, I gave you that support and your resistance 1338. Gold, that was probably my best trade idea on Friday. Looking for that rejection at the daily 50 MA, I believe is what our thesis was. Yep, right there. We were looking for that lower high on the hourly, I believe. Yep, on that pullback at 1715. So that would have been in here. And I said, wait for a bounce for a potential short. Looking for the hourly lower high with that daily 50 MA overhead. Now gold has pulled back more than it should. And who says what should happen? With the way of the bounce was so good on gold, they made plenty of room for a higher low. But why are they allowing this much action from the bears? And bears just took over. And we've retraced 50% of that move. So a lower high is on the table now for gold bulls on a bounce because they have pulled back to such a more significant amount than the 0.382. So down here, what would I do? Potential 15-minute bear flag. I don't see a trade. I don't see a trade on gold until the dollar chills out a little bit. And maybe this is the point. Maybe if we could bounce for potential hourly EMAs. I don't see a trade on gold right now. Don't want to force it. Oil, I do see a trade. It looks like bulls are going to take over here. I like this trampoline. Yeah, bulls are taking back over on this. So here's what I was thinking. On the weekly chart, here's my thesis. A weekly lower high is anticipated compared to 97.66. The weekly 50 MA is overhead. We have bounced enough. Now in the next pullback, we have enough room for a weekly higher low. But I am bearish oil against 97.66 and against 93.74, the weekly 50 MA. But the daily chart on the next pullback, we have enough room for a higher low. 4-hour, we're holding those EMAs just fine. So I may have prematurely entered this short. And here's what I was looking at. I was looking on the 30-minute. I was looking top fish 92.37. It looks like I just got stopped out. I was looking at top fish is 92.37, looking for a potential rollover, but bulls are in charge of this chart, but I will still be looking short. I just have to wait for price to get with me on the short. We have this little head and shoulders that could be forming here. So we'll see what happens here. And I'm bummed. I wanted that to work. That hourly chart is beautiful though. Bulls are back in control over 92.64. I guess this was a pivot here at that 92.37 and over 92.64. They clear the 4-hour resistance, and then we're looking up at 93.55. Chris, I don't know if you want to do that early in the morning, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's nighttime for you. Okay, Nat Gas is looking for a 4-hour lower high compared to 6.926. But the bulls have bounced enough to make room for a higher low compared to 660. I'm just trying to get my thesis here. This is a 4-hour top fish, but the top fish has already happened. It was up here. We pulled back too much, but if we were to bounce against 6829, you could attempt a 15-minute lower high top fish on that gas. I think the bigger trade we've already missed. Apple. All right. Man, it's 6:53. Dan will be live in 7 minutes. I'm just going to keep going at this pace and cover what I can cover. So on the 15-minute, we have a high from yesterday at 141.70. All right. When I look at 15-minute overbought, that's at 140.89. So I'm thinking long Apple this morning. I'm thinking long, and we could use pre-market support of 139.81. And then 140.89 is the 15-minute overbought area. So I'm thinking 141 could be a place where price stops. 141.70 would be a conservative bear waiting to top fish that. So I'm looking long this morning on Apple and then short around 141. And if we get through that, 141.70 would be my second bear attempt area. Y'all see this? How he held the 50 RSI down here? We just get so many little clues, so many little clues. I love trading. Bernanke's Nobel Peace Prize, I wouldn't say that was a sign of pivoting. I don't know that we can glean or ascertain anything from that, but if you can, you're better than me. Which most of you probably are better than me. All right, so you have resistance on Amazon 115.63. What were my notes on Amazon? Amazon gap down. Okay, now we're not gapping down. I was looking at it back here. Gap downs in general, a general rule of thumb. Gap ups are for shorting, gap downs are for buying, or gap ups are for selling, excuse me, and gap downs are for buying. I was hoping we'd gap down below Friday's low and still hold 11245 for a potential bottom fish. That's what I was looking for. So maybe a pullback buy against 113.50 could be a potential buy zone, or 113.88, the low of Friday. Let's use that level for potential pullback buy. MG, you know me too well. Yeah, hit the like button. Thanks, Miguel. Tell him hit it. All right, Nvidia, no edge for me. Gap down, testing support now. It's hard to go long down here with China news. So we're pretty beat up. We were below 1946 in pre-market. Well, that's good. We're recovering 119.46. That's a decent bounce, but I don't know. I guess you could attempt a pullback buy against 119.05. I don't like Nvidia for a trade, and Tesla I don't like for a trade. Tesla has just been majorly weak. It's been super weak. Daily's oversold. Typically, daily oversold. I'm going to be looking to buy Tesla to the long side, but they've just had so many headline risk. They're green right now. But more Twitter news comes out, that has been impacting Tesla negatively. But when will all that get priced in? So right now, this is actually a decent bounce since last time I looked at it. So pullback buy against Friday's low, 222.02. That makes sense. All right. Here's the craziest queen of the mountain I think I've ever had. Oh, and it's even weaker. Ugh, I gotta be careful. AMD got to upgrade, yet high risk long with the China news. There is daily RSI bull divergence. Let me show you. Which that probably won't be present when we open. So we made a lower low on price Friday, but RSI made a higher low. Slight bull divergence. Just don't have a lot of support in this area is the problem. 54.83 is your next support. I'm looking for max capitulation here on AMD, and I'm looking to go long AMD for a day trade. If I'm talking about swings, I am pretty good at telling you, hey, this is just for a swing or just for a day trade. If I don't say anything, assume it's a day trade. I'm pretty good at denoting swing ideas. So this is a day trade idea of I want AMD to flush as hard as possible toward $55 at open. Then I'd wait for a 2-minute trend change to the upside for a long attempt. Because of how we've been flushing here, I'm looking for a 5% possible bounce on AMD. Once it starts bouncing, we got to flush everybody out. But I would assume we're getting close with hourly RSI to 18. 4-hour RSI 24, daily RSI will be lower than 25 when we open, weekly not quite oversold with that upgrade news. So I'm looking for, actually I'm going to put my notes here so you can see what I was thinking, and I'm very cautious with this one. This is super counter trend. AMD got to upgrade, yet high risk long with China news. Daily, not what I meant to do. Daily RSI bull divergence, looking to potentially buy a flush down, then would flip short at overbought conditions if we get there. So I'm looking in both directions on AMD, but I'm looking for a long opportunity initially, but I need bulls with me on the trade. If we start moving to the upside before the market opens, then I'm going to back away from this idea. I want them to flush it, just purely flush it. Cano has been in talks, I think it was CVS, I believe, and Humana for sure, and I can't remember the other one. Various people are looking to buy out CANO, and this buyout news keeps spiking it, and we went sideways for a couple of weeks, and then we got more. So this was the Humana news here, and Friday we got the CVS news. So this is a nice bull candidate. I was trying to find y'all a non-counter trend, a name that was nice and bullish that you could buy a dip on. AMD is nice and bearish. I'm looking to buy a dip, and that's a harder trade. Names like this, going long on a name that has a bullish catalyst, that's a little bit easier. So I'm looking for the first 15-minute oversold or 5-minute oversold on CANO. Let's go set that alert. And Dan is live now. If you need to leave me to go listen to him, I understand. He's the GOAT. Wouldn't blame you. So tell me when Cano gets 230 oversold. CGC, a top fish setup with Friday's weakness. Tilray, top fish setup with Friday's weakness. And RIVN, I would look to top fish bounces. So bounces are for shorting on Rivian with this terrible news. They had good news a few days ago, and then bad news Friday, and then bad news again this morning. So Rivian, in my opinion, if we get to 5-minute overbought, so that's a different type of alert. Let's go set that alert. And I'm going to set it right below 70. Tell me when it gets to 68. The 5-minute RSI gets to 68, and I may front run a short. All right, Bob, you're always very clear to say that you're leaving because Dan is starting. I know he's the best. I know, and I don't blame you. All right, thank y'all for joining me. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Go give me a follow on Twitter at ChartGalLori. And watch those overbought conditions on CGC and Tilray on the 5-minute or 15-minute. Could give you a great top fish opportunity. All right, y'all, use stop losses.